Yo, what's going on? This is your man, Ryan Righteous, the Independent Artist Spotlight, man. I'm sitting down with a treasure today, man. I'm sitting down with Denzel Peoples, man, and I'm excited to talk to him. You might know him from the Poets and Autumn Tour. You might know him from all those great things that he's done with spoken word, man. But today we got him in the studio to talk about his new recording that he's going to be doing, a paranoid ramble of cardboard skies. And I'm excited because I want to find out, what is this all about? So you're in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. This is the Independent Artist Spotlight. Let's get into it. Denzel, what's up, fam?
Man, what's happening?
Man, so glad to have you here, bro. Again, man, my condolences on the passing of your uncle.
Thank you.
I know he was special to you. We had a conversation, and I know he shaped your life in many ways.
Yeah.
And I know you just went through your first season of holidays without him, man. So my heart, my prayers, they still go out to you and your family, bro.
Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Bruh, 2026. Yeah. You've already talked about it, man. You're excited about what God is going to do. And it's going to be an amazing 2026. You got a lot lined up. You got the Vibe coming up on February 21st, the live recording, man. Let's talk about this project, bro. Yeah. What is up with a paranoid ramble of cardboard skies?
Yeah, it's a mouthful. It's a mouthful for a reason, man. Yeah, man. So I'm recording my first project, man, and I am not aloof to the idea that like poetry albums don't really have much of a stencil. There definitely have been people, you know, Gil Scott Heron and people who've released poetry albums before, but this is it's hard. It's hard to figure out, you know, kind of what route I wanted to go on.
Sure.
But, this album, A Paranoid Ramble About Cardboard Skies, it's the idea of, you ever seen The Truman Show with Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Yeah. That's where the idea comes from.
Okay.
It's this idea that when I look up into the world, the things that I see are not real. They're not real.
Okay.
They're mirages. And so it's a paranoid ramble about
now.
Cardboard skies.
I got it now.
Yes. And so all of these tracks, there's 15 poems on here. All of these poems talk about my struggles with reality, with life, with the things that have happened in life. And so on this album, you're going to hear a poem about my uncle, which I wrote before he passed away, and he had heard the poem, and I'm grateful for that. But you're going to hear about, you know, that poem about my uncle. You're going to hear about my divorce. You're going to hear about what it's like to be an educator. You're going to hear poems on social justice and politics and all of these things, and how they're interconnected with the Lord, and how we look at this world that we are just passers through, right? We're not citizens of this world, we're citizens of heaven. And so I'm just rambling about these cardboard skies, you know.
Man, it's really cool because you've got the killer whale, or the whale killer.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like, you have such a deep take on a lot of the topics that you talk about, man. You talked about politics, you're talking about sex, you're talking about divorce. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Let's start with divorce, bro.
Yeah.
That was a season of your life that I know no one wants to go through.
Yeah.
How have you been doing since then?
Man, you know, I tell people, and my ex-wife could probably attest to this too, there are blessings on the other side of divorce that you don't recognize could be there, right? It's such a taboo topic, but I remember having a conversation with my ex-wife when we were separated, and we talked about how we've been able to see the goodness of the Lord in our separation, which sounds so weird, but there was so much turmoil and pain, so many things we didn't work through when we were dating, that spilled over into our marriage. And so we were finally able to see the Lord bloom and blossom in ways that, you know, we hadn't experienced when we were married. And so, of course, there's hard parts, right? Being in my 30s and being single again is weird.
What's an example of the good that you're able to see? Because I feel like divorce has been something that every Christian has been afraid of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think an example of a blessing that came out of it was the way that I've been able to parent. When you live in a state of I call it. I don't know if you remember that old game on the computer, the Minesweeper, where you click down and there were mines around, but you couldn't see where the mines were, and so you.
Oh yeah, I do remember
You
that.
remember that? Yeah. That's kind of what it felt like. You know, during marriage, it just felt like every day we were both walking on eggshells, not wanting to hurt each other, not wanting to, you know, be angry and all that stuff. And so now living in a household separate from that, when my kids are at home, I get to father in such a more loving way, such a more compassionate way. You know, like there's not a whole lot of yelling and screaming and stuff like that. Things that were present because there was so much going on internally that it just spilled out onto them externally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you say to people that feel like the opposite of that would be not being able to tuck your kids in at night, like every night? I feel like I know a homeboy of mine that was like, man, that's the hardest part for him. It's like, you know, saying goodbye, leaving the door, and getting in your car and driving to a separate place to lay your head on a pillow.
Yeah.
What is your thought behind that being the, I guess, the precursor of the blessing?
Yeah. I have a poem about this on the album that talks specifically about my feelings, especially in those early days of separation, where my kids were out of state. And so I was coming home from work, and the house was exactly the way it was when I left it. And I still had leftovers for recipes for one in the air fryer, and I had an empty dinner table, and things were silent. And I'm a teacher, bro, but I would stay at the school until 7 o'clock because I didn't want to go home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain that's associated with divorce when you have kids, especially.
Yeah. And yours are young.
Mine are young. Yeah.
Man, so much of you has gone into this project.
Yeah, man.
15 tracks.
Yeah.
Break down some of the ones that you like favored, that were like, oh man, this to me is probably gonna be my favorite. This to me is probably gonna be the most memorable. This to me is probably gonna be the one most people resonate with.
Yeah.
What would those 3 different tracks be?
Yeah. Okay. One of them I'll say is The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
And it is a strange concept, but the concept is it's a poem about prosperity preaching. It's a poem about false prophets, and it ties together the wonderful Wizard of Oz with the story of Job.
Ooh.
And I create a character that kind of peers into what it's like to live in a world that's mundane and black and white, kind of like at the beginning of the movie, and tuning in to watching this powerful, dynamic pastor on TBN. And how colorful he is and how vibrant it is and how you get sucked in until you realize that's a wizard.
Ooh.
That's a wizard behind that veil there. So that one is really cool. It's really different.
And one of the ones that I was curious about is Dear White Christian. Let's talk about that one.
Dear White Christian. Dear White Christian was a poem I wrote in 2020.
Okay. Pandemic. During
the pandemic. I was a part of a mega church in California, where the predominant our campuses were predominantly white, except the one that I was a part of.
Oh.
And so I got to see firsthand what it felt like to be someone who was like marginalized, and not someone our campus felt like a redheaded stepchild. And so I wrote that poem to white Christians who I was having conversations with on the daily about social injustice, watching Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and not knowing what to do with that, and having their own assumptions about the president at the time, and all these conversations. And so I had a basically that poem is, what if it was me? Would you feel any different if that was me under that knee?
Yes.
If that was me on the other side of that bullet?
Yeah, I've often thought that myself. I've often thought, is it going to take a Christian rapper?
Yeah.
Someone who was philanthropic, someone who was serving in their ministry, someone who was clearly, plastered all over social media as preaching the word of God, to be in that situation for people to say, well, can't make an excuse about character.
Yeah.
Can't make an excuse about, police records. Can't make an excuse about drug use or drug abuse. Is that what it's going to take? Let me ask you this. This is polarizing.
Yeah.
What would those same people that you spoke to back in 2020 have to say about what we saw this week with the president posting about Michelle and Barack Obama as primates?
That's a really good question. I actually asked that question on Threads yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I thought particularly about an intern that we had. He was 19, a white guy. That we need that context. And he used to have conversations with me and with the rest of us who were on staff, who were people of color, and he had a different viewpoint than us. And we would go back and forth about whether the president was racist and whether this and that. And I asked yesterday on Threads, I said, I wonder what he's thinking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Do you think that would be worth tagging him, finding him to figure that out? Because I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to know that if we didn't draw a line in the sand when it came out with the Epstein files, that we're drawing a line. It's Black History Month, bro.
Yeah.
It's Black History Month.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And, to me, it's like, it's not just the fact that we're living through it.
Yeah.
It's that we're raising kids through it.
Yeah.
And what happens when, you have young kids, I have young kids, and we get to the point where civil rights has been reversed. Yeah. And now we're sitting back and we're having to fight again. We're having to march again. We're having to, voice our opinions again and stand up. And why is it that our Christian white brothers and sisters are not standing with us? Like, what is that about?
Yeah.
That to me is really mind numbing, because you saw a lot of Republicans come out. One that I was glad to see was Tim Scott.
That was surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was surprised me too.
Yeah.
But there was a caveat.
Yeah.
I pray this is fake.
Yeah.
Saying that you still don't believe that he would do it.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah.
He's capable of it.
Yeah.
He's done it, and he's done worse.
Yeah.
That to me is like, bro, what?
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah.
What next?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm super intrigued, like, to figure out where some of those people are, because I've had conversations over the years, with several people that come to mind, and I'm just like, man, like, I wonder if their viewpoints are the same. And unfortunately, I've seen too often where viewpoints haven't changed. Mm-hmm. And it's not because I want them to be liberal or Democrat or anything. Like, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
The idea is, like, you have seen over and over and over and over and over the same things that we've seen. Mm-hmm. But you're able to, and I know this is a trigger word, but you're able to, in your privilege, be able to dismiss it. Yeah. Or overlook it, or, oh, you know what? I'm not even, as Jelly Roll said at the award ceremony this weekend, I'm not even into politics that much. I'm not too privy to that. And then was at the National Prayer Breakfast, a few days later. So, like, that's what I think is so disheartening, is that Christians are called to be aware of injustices and to love on the marginalized. That is our goal. And so it doesn't matter if it aligns with your view of politics, or if they are the same color as you, or whatever you feel. Our job is to provide for those who are less fortunate. Yeah. And if the less fortunate look a certain way, then that's what it is in our country. And we've got to figure out how we are going to address it. And unfortunately, consistently throughout history, especially during the Civil Rights Movement, it was Black Christians who got it right, and it was white Christians who got it wrong.
Yeah. I hear a piece coming out of you. I hear you cooking up something in the prayer closet. Yeah. Man, talk to me about the process. Yeah. 15 tracks with different titles, different descriptions, different takes on life. Yeah. Talk to me about how all that gets cooked up.
Yeah. It gets cooked up over 10 years. Is what it does. So like you mentioned at the beginning, I was exceptionally blessed to have my dreams come true
Mm-hmm.
in being able to perform at P4CM's Rhetoric in 2017 and in 2019. I was extremely blessed to be able to be a featured speaker at the Poets Anonymous Tour in 2018.
Yeah.
And around that time is when I got married and when I had kids. I got married and had my daughter in 2018.
Okay.
And so there was a pause in my artistry.
Okay.
I wasn't able to delve into it as much. I was still writing, but I
Yeah.
wasn't performing.
Yeah.
And so now here we are in 2026, and I just had this backlog of poems, and I felt like, man, some of these could actually fit together and create a project. And so yeah, it cooked over time. That's why I said I wrote one in 2020. I wrote another one a couple years ago. I wrote one last year, you know, and so it's just a combination of my viewpoints on life and my experiences in life, you know.
Man, yeah. And so talk to me a little bit about the vibe, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be obviously a live recording.
Yeah.
Man, what is that going to sound like over beats? Like, have you
Yeah.
thought much about the beat delivery and how that's going to change things? Is it going to change things? Are you going to like keep it mellow? Are you going to bring the beat, bring the tempo up?
Yeah.
Like, what's the plan there?
Yeah, man. That's such an interesting question. And that's what I was alluding to earlier with the idea that, like, there's not really a template for this.
Right.
You know, Button Poetry has released albums, and they're just live recorded spoken word, you know, stuff. And but then other poets have done, you know, the bongos in the back, like, you know, it's just, it varies. And so for me, what I'm going to in this first album is I'm going to start with just my voice.
Okay.
When it comes to poetry, I have a cadence that pops up a lot. My cadence is very important to me when I'm doing poetry, and so I'm utilizing that as kind of the hook. But I do anticipate in post probably going back to some of these tracks and adding something behind me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have you have Faith and Flavor coming up. You have Love Unedited coming up. You have the Irby Studio, Velvet Voices coming up.
Yeah.
What's going to be the different vibe at all of these, or is it going to pretty much be the same? And is it going to be a breakdown of the different 15 tracks? Like, are you going to do 7 here, 8 there?
Yeah.
You're going to repeat some? Like, what's going to be the vibe there?
So outside of my album recording on February 21st, I do have a few. I do have a few different shows that I'm going to be performing at this month. One of them tonight, actually.
Yep.
And so I'm really excited about that. And some of these are my involvement. Some I'm more involved with than others, right? And so the one for tonight, which is the Faith and Flavors, my good friends who are over Faith and Flavors, they are curating an event at actually the same place at the Vibe at Echo Street West.
Okay.
And it's going to be a worship night that includes poetry.
Okay.
So I'm one of 2 poets that's going to be there. So I'm going to do one of my poems, probably from the album there.
Okay.
The Love Unedited is actually a pre-Valentine's Day show curated by Genetics.
Oh, dope. Genetics. Love Genetics.
Yeah. And so there's a group of us who are a part of her. We're like a poetry class. And so we have written some poems about love, but that are not lovey-dovey. They're more, I'll leave it at that. But they are some really raw, emotional pieces, and Genetics is pushing me really, really hard.
Yeah.
To make sure that I'm really emotional. But I will be performing one of my poem about divorce at that show on the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course my album recording is on February 21st.
Okay.
Paranoid Ramble by Cardboard Skies at the Vibe. It's a rooftop. And I know it's in February, but it is enclosed. It's an enclosed rooftop. So we're going to be warm. We're going to be in a room. But I had to get in the sky to do this project.
Oh, that makes sense.
I had to get in the sky, man.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So tonight, next week,
Yeah.
week after,
Yeah.
you got one in the chamber.
Yeah.
What can you give us before you go?
Man. Let me see. Let me do. I'll do a snippet of one, man.
Okay.
I have a poem called Avalanche on my album.
Yeah.
And Avalanche is a poem about the loss of a friendship. One of my best friends from college. We ended up being roommates, and we had a big falling out, man. And we were never able to recover. It's not a happily ever after.
I have a friend like that.
Yeah.
From college.
Yeah.
Big falling out. We were never able to recover.
Yeah, man. So
And I miss him, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's like there was so much love there.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard a lot of art on broken friendships. And so this is one of those ones. So I'll do a little snippet.
Okay.
It started small as snowball. A cold, controlled kamikaze that you could never see coming. I scooped my ammo. Stuffed the snow so solid you'd never know. I packed heat. I didn't even aim, but I clocked you. Most times, I'm worried to watch my words. But I didn't want to worry because our words went second. See, our argument took a minute. We were too close to face each other with our hands. So we used the calendar to wage a cold war. No weapons formed against us, but it was this February that leaped years over our friendship that prospered. Yeah, it started small as snowball. But this snowball snowballed until it snowballed at all.
Okay, so let me tell you what I got from that, because I'm not that good at breaking things down. I'm not the track star. Sean and Jeremiah, they're the rappers. You talked about, sound like you were talking about how the argument ensued.
Yeah.
And how it was like building up.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah,
Man. Very similar to my situation, man. We had agreed to be roommates.
Yeah.
And I bought a house, and I was like, bro, let's put this thing together, man. We bought a shell. We were going to rebuild it. My dad was an architect at the time.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And a couple of days he stiffed me, he didn't show up, and I was like, bro, what's going on? And he was like, man, I've changed my mind. And I was thinking, well, we talked about doing this, and I was kind of relying on your income to help me, get through a lot of this. And he was like, yeah, bro, I just figured anything you can do, I can do. And I was like, oh,
wow.
Okay. I was like, and then it just got really bad from there, because he had a life situation that I really poked the bear, and couldn't recover from that, because he had already been through some trauma with his family talking about it.
Yeah.
So I just was like, hey, by the way, whatever your parents say, let me put something on top of that, because I see it too. Man. And it was really bad. Yeah. It was really bad. Bro, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you for sitting down. Thank you for bringing Trackstarz in as a sponsor. Yeah. Always glad to just build a connection, relationship, man. You're in Atlanta, so no stranger to us, man. Please make sure that you stay in contact, and anything you need, bro, let us know. We're here for it, man. Excited about the project, man. Excited about the live recording, man. Tell everybody how they can find you and how they can support you. Yeah, man. What to look out for next.
Yeah, man. And just thank you. I'm honored to be here, man. Been a fan of Trackstarz for over a decade. So I'm honored to be here, man. I just love it. And thank y'all for coming on board and sponsoring my project, man. But yeah, everybody can find me on Threads, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Oof, I just got a Facebook back. Lord Jesus. At Denzel Peoples. And yeah, man, come on out February the 21st at 7 p.m. You can grab the tickets in my bio. Yeah. They're only $20, so not too much. And I would just love to see y'all there, man. Come hear my poetry, come hear my life, come hear my story, man. So
absolutely,
thank you so much.
Absolutely. And hey, Denzel Peoples in the building, man. He's crazy with the poet in the spoken word, man. Poetry and spoken word. So make sure that you go out, you like, subscribe, and you do everything my man needs you to do in order to show some love. This is your man Ryan Righteous, the Independent Artist Spotlight, and we're out. Peace.
Okay. In the artist spotlight. Okay. Making sure you shine bright. Okay. Ryan Righteous, that's right. Okay. Trackstarz too hype. Okay.